Kohala Yahweh, Bahoshem, Yahweh Shai, Bahoshem Rakaha Kwadash. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone, where I have learned this truth and where I'm still learning this truth. And also Shalom to the remnant of Israel, right? The elect of Israel. Okay, so this is going to be a reading. We just got done out of a series titled "The Kingdom," it was titled "And So All Israel Shall Be Saved." Okay, and what we are speaking of in that is the kingdom and how all Israel will be in the kingdom. Okay, some will have to go through this fire that's coming when the Lord returns, though. It says that 2/3 of Israel shall be cut off and die. Let me get this really quick. Let me see. All right, this is Zechariah, the 13th chapter, and I'm gonna just go ahead and go to the point. Maybe hold on, let me see. Yeah, Zechariah 13 and starting at verse 8. It reads, "And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein." All right, and this is speaking of the land of North America, Babylon the Great, or the future site of the lake of fire. All right, and this is verse 9. Zechariah 13 and 9. It reads, "And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, It is my people, and they shall say, The Lord is my God." All right, so you have the 1/3, all right, the remnant. Within that remnant, there is the elect, all right, that are men, okay, that are going to sit in the government that is coming in the kingdom. All right, the remnant includes women, children, all right, because there are women, there are children that are going to be take part in this great deliverance here in America. Okay, when the Lord comes back with his chariots, which are so-called UFOs. Okay, um, uh, so all of these are the remnant. The other 2/3 that hold on to these other philosophies, all right, that haven't came out of the mind state of the people that they are surrounded by, all right, which is what Gentile actually means in the scriptures. Okay, being in another state of mind outside of the state of mind that you should be in, which is an Israelite state of mind. All right, you are in a Gentile state of mind. Just as an example, we over here in the States, we are in an American state of mind. Speaking of the 2/3 that are going to get burnt up, or a Islamic state of mind, or whatever you believe. All right, it's a prideful state of mind. All right, but the Lord made you that way. Okay, which we spoke of in Romans the 11th chapter. That all Israel is going to be saved because all of us played a part one way or another. Okay, one way or another we played a part that contributed to the other parts. You had the 2/3. All right, they contributed to our growth in spirit. Also, you were an example, okay, of how destroyed um, uh, Israel is, even to the last day. Okay, we are an example for you of how the Lord worked in bringing flesh back on these dry bones, making us live again. All right, even before we are going to live again in the kingdom. Okay, So we all played our part. The Lord loves all of Israel. Israel as a whole, and Israel is a people before it's a place. All right, but He loves us. Okay, He loves us more than we love us. All right, we cannot love us more than even He. Okay, He loves us more. So in that love, He's going to bring everyone, okay, into the kingdom. It's just some people are going to be an example up to the last day, one way or the other, as a part of the remnant or as a two-third. Okay, um, that is what Romans the 11th chapter was speaking of. We did readings on that also. Okay, but today we are going to do a reading on Isaiah the 5th chapter, and it's not going to be the whole chapter. This is just going to be a quick reading. It's just going to be verses 1 through 7, I believe. All right. Lord willing. Everything is Lord willing, okay? If you hear me say something on this channel, just know that it's Lord willing. Although that's not an excuse for me not to say it, okay? I need to say that so that someone new will know that everything is Lord will. Because everything belongs to the Lord. You are not even your own, okay? You are not your own. And the Lord wants us to know that. Nothing belongs to you, man. Everything is His, and He does with it what He wants. Okay? Everything. All right? And yes, He does want you to know that. All right? He wants you to know that. Now, does that mean when you have kids to disown them because they aren't yours, they're the Lord's? No, that's not what that means. And we've become so simple that that has to be explained. If you tell someone that everything belongs to the Lord, they want to backbite against that and think that you're saying something malicious against them. That's not what is being said. Okay? Anyway, let's go ahead and go to, and I'm going to use the 1611 King James. Okay? We're going to read out of here today. So it's Isaiah, the 5th chapter. All right? This is speaking of Israel in a parabolic sense. Okay? And this thing never keeps or never stops giving. Just okay. So I have read the Bible. Okay, anybody can read the Bible from front to back. Anybody can read it like that. But you get understanding through a different way. Let's see. All right, this is Isaiah 28, and we'll start at 9. I think we just read this not too long ago, maybe 2 videos ago. Isaiah 28, and I'm gonna read the King James. I think I read the last time I read the NLT. It reads, "Whom shall?" This is Isaiah 28 and verse 9 in the KJV. Okay. It reads, "Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and have drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little." Okay, this thing is written in code. Okay, to get understanding, you go back and forth. Some people like to label that as Hebrew hopscotch because they don't have the understanding. So they got to put some kind of connotation on it to make it seem like we are using trickery, the same thing that they do. Okay, that is not what is going on here. Okay, if someone does not is not um, on the right path that is shown through this these pages, okay, and these precepts, here a little, there a little, line upon line, all right, they could either be misunderstanding, misinterpreting, or just plain deceptive, man. Okay, just plain old deceptive. All right. So, but you get understanding not through reading it from cover to cover like a storybook. Although you can do that. So we're not saying don't do that. But this thing is unlocked not in that way. Okay? Not in that way. You can get some things out of that. But there is more to behold when you get precept must when you do Isaiah 28 and 10, all right? For precept must be upon precept, line or precept upon precept, line upon line upon line, here a little and there a little. Okay? And now in these days, or like people like to bring up the Bible as in these times have all passed. No. We are living, and all of us have been living in biblical times. There's not a time where this thing has ended. All right? So Isaiah 28 and 12. To whom he said, this is the rest wherewith ye may cause the weird, excuse me, hold on, no. Isaiah 28 and 11. This is what I was trying to get at. For with stammering lips and another tongue, he will speak to his people. What do you think he's speaking to you in now? English. Okay? In another language. But you are told to read, study, go back to the Hebrew, go back to the Greek, get etymology, all right? Be a workman, okay? All right? A watchman, all right? There's a lot of things that he tells us to do. And yes, we are still living in biblical times, man. All right? You know, people think this thing is over. It's not over until the Lord says it's over, all right? And there are prophecies that have yet to come to pass, but they are coming. Yes, there are prophecies that already have came to pass. All right, but there's some left. Okay. The mark of the beast. All right, the famine of hearing the word, World War III, the Lord coming back. Okay. All right. So we're going to read today Isaiah the 5th chapter, and it's only going to be verses 1 through 7. Okay. Again, this is speaking of Israel in a parabolic sense. Now, keep in mind, um, the last series or the last reading that we did, Romans 11. Okay, keep in mind Romans 11, and while we're listening to this, to the best of your ability. All right. Uh, so this is Isaiah, the 5th chapter, and I'm going to read the summary. They give a summary in the 16:11 before the chapter. All right. So this is what we're going to read. It says, under the parable of a vineyard, God executeth his severe judgment. His judgments upon covetousness, upon lasciviousness, upon impiety, and upon injustice. The executioners of God's judgments. All right. So we're only going to get to where it read, under the parable of the vineyard, God executes his severe judgment. Okay, that's where we're going to get to with verses 1 through 7. Okay. Um, if I read this quickly, we wouldn't get through this. I mean, we would get through this video quick. I may do a reading in the NLT also and in the good news. All right. I don't know yet. I don't know how this is going to go. So Again, Isaiah the 5th chapter, in the 1611 King James. All right, it reads, "Now I will sing to my well-beloved, a song of my beloved touching his vineyard. My well-beloved hath a vineyard in a very fruitful hill, and he fenced it, and gathered out the stones thereof, and planted it with the choicest vine, and built a tower in the midst of it, and also made a winepress therein. And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes." And right now we're only, that was already 1 and 2. Okay, so this is speaking of Israel. All right, he had us be separate. That's what holy means, separate. All right, he gathered the stones out and planted it with the choicest vine. What is that? The best of the best, us. Okay, Israel, the sons of God. All right, he built a tower in the midst of it. All right, what is that tower for? What is that likened to? All right, he told you to be a watchman. He told us to be a watchman. All right, to watch over this. All right, and to speak the things that we do, that we do speak of. All right, that the Lord told us to speak of. All right, and also made a winepress therein, and he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes. Not too long ago, I was in a discussion, okay, and I had used that word wild. All right, I said it was wild in the room that I was discussing, that the discussion was going in, and which the reaction I got showed you, or shows you, that there are words that we find offensive, like shit, fuck, damn, whatever, and then there were words that they used in the all the way back in the prophets' days: dog's head, cow dung, uh, harlot. Okay, so when I use wild, it was a misunderstood, or maybe it wasn't misunderstood. All right, because in this, let's go to the blue letter really quick. All right, Isaiah 5. Let's go to this wild grapes. Okay.
Strong's H 891. Beushim. Beushim.
All right, and that's the it's Strong's H. All right, or you would have Strong's G. All right, Hebrew, Greek. Okay, so Strong's H, which means this is a Hebrew word, and that word means stinking or worthless things. All right, wild grapes. Okay, the root word stench goes back to, excuse me, I'll play the root word for you.
Strong's H 889. Beosh. Beosh.
All right, the root word means stench, foul odor. All right, what would the Lord find call foul odor? Something that is contrary to Him. Okay, something that is contrary to Him. It could be something big that the whole world knows is against the Lord. It could be something small that you don't know. Okay, but it is a stench to Him. Okay, so when I said that, it pricked some people. All right, I think the Lord was pricking them a little bit, getting them to maybe realize what I was saying there. But that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to bring up that wild grapes, because although they are wild grapes, they are still a part of the Lord's vineyard. Okay, they are still part of the Lord's vineyard. So we can't boast as to being the grapes that the Lord expected. Okay, we cannot do that. We are actually in between the ones who kept the law or tried to keep the law to the best of their ability because they knew those things were good, or and nowadays we could be this wild grape. Okay, so we can't boast against the Jews, which I'm not going to go into what that. Well, it is one of the three uh, southern tribes: Judah, Benjamin, Levi. Really, Judah. That's what Jew is short for, Judah. But we were all grouped into uh, one word, being called Jews. Okay, but and those were the ones who kept the laws. Okay, or boasted about keeping the law. But we're in between the Jews and the wild grapes. All right. If it wasn't for either, okay, we wouldn't be here. I mean, of course, if it wasn't for the Lord. But what I'm saying is the Lord used all of Israel. Okay. Each time we went off, he used the people who went off. He programmed them people to go off. We all went off. Everyone transgressed against the Lord. All Israel did that, which is why Yahushua is important. All right. But none of us can boast to walking this thing perfect or being perfect. Okay. So we needed each other. We are not over our brother. Okay. Uh, there was a saying I really heard. I heard. Uh, now I can't even remember. I think it was a worldly saying. I can't remember correctly what it said, but basically it spoke to that point. We are not over each other, man. Okay. When we speak, the things that we do and the way that we do, it's because we are passionate about what the Lord has shown to us. Okay. And it's not coming from us. It's coming from the Lord, man. We had to be chastised. Okay? We had to go through all of this. And the Lord is putting it on us to tell you these good things. You don't really recognize them as that now because the Lord put the spirit of sleep on you. But that's what that is. All right? So, verse 3, Isaiah 5 and 3. And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judah, judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard. Basically telling you, look at this situation. Look at this situation. All right. I planted you. You were the sons of God, men of renown, the giants in the earth. And then you became fallen, the ones who fell from their position. All right. So he's given us up to things that we kept going to, that were outside of him. He let all these things rule over us. Okay. And he brought some of us back to life. Okay. Anyway, Isaiah 5 and 3. Basically, you judge. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this situation. All right, verse 4, Isaiah 5 and 4. What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? All right, I gave you guys everything, man. He kept doing this all over time, and not even just in the Garden of Eden. He took us out of Egypt. You know, all throughout Judges, he was telling everybody, "Hey, Noah." Now, all throughout time, he's shown to be here and to be protecting us. If we didn't have the Lord, we would be gone already, man. We would be gone already. It is not for lack of trying from these other nations that we aren't destroyed. Okay? They have been trying to destroy us. What's kept us here? Okay? And even in saying that, even in giving that answer that you know of, it's the Lord that's kept us here. All right, what kind of thanks do we show him? What kind of praise do we show him for doing this? All right. But he wrote us to go through this for obedience, to learn obedience. All right. The road only got as hard as we made it on ourselves. All these lessons we had to learn. All right. He told us everything he told us we went against. And then we were shown the reason. Why not do this and that? This is why. Right? The Lord did everything for our benefit. Okay? Again, Isaiah 5 and verse 4. What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes. People will say, have a blessed day this, blessed day that. God is all love. God knows my heart. All you got to do is have faith. All right, but he tells us more. What is having faith? What is love? Okay? And if we would have listened to him, all right, obeyed him, okay, we had everything that we needed. We had everything that we needed. But no, some of us wanted to be wild, all right, and go follow after these other beliefs, not pay attention to the Lord, all right, praising him and then not paying attention to him, not doing the things that he told us not to do, or not doing the things that he told us to do, and not staying away from what he told us to stay away from, all right, became wild grapes, wild, stinking grapes. Isaiah 5 and 5 now. And now go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. Or excuse me, to my vineyard. This is what he will do. This is what he did do. Okay? He didn't say what I might do. He said what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof. What is that? All right? Taking away our protection. If you have a garden, okay, that's what hedges are for, to protect it. If you have a vineyard, excuse me. And it shall be eaten up. Right? The vineyard is going to be eaten up, destroyed. Okay? And break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down. Again, destroying the vineyard. Okay? It's going to be trodden down. It's going to be eaten up and trodden down. Isaiah 5 and 6 now. And I will lay it waste, and it shall not be pruned, nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns. All right, things that you would not expect to come up in your vineyard if you planted a vineyard. You wouldn't expect no briars or no thorns, stuff that'll smother the vineyard. All right. I will also command the clouds that they rain no, or yeah, that they rain no rain upon it. How are we gonna grow? How does a vineyard grow without the rain? All right. It will be forever kept down, man, until the Lord comes back. Okay, until the Lord makes, excuse me, until the truth comes into the elect and we stand back up. All right, stand back up on our feet. All right, this is Isaiah 5 and verse 7 now. For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, but behold, oppression. For righteousness, but behold, a cry. Okay, so that's all we're going to read there for now for Isaiah chapter 5. I'm going to go ahead and run through the NLT reading really quick, and then maybe even in the good news. All right, so here we go. It's Isaiah 5, 1 through 7 in the NLT. And the heading reads, A Song About the Lord's Vineyard. It reads, Now I will sing for the one I love, a song about his vineyard. My beloved had a vineyard on a rich and fertile hill. He plowed the land, cleared its stones, and planted it with the best vines. In the middle, he built a watchtower and carved a winepress in the nearby rocks. Then he waited for a harvest of sweet grapes, but the grapes that grew were bitter. Now, you people of Jerusalem and Judah, you judge between me and my vineyard. What more could I have done for my vineyard that I have not already done? When I expected sweet grapes, why did my vineyard give me bitter grapes. And hold that thought really quick, all right? I'm on verse 4. Now listen to this. This verse just came to mind. All right, this is Jeremiah 2, and I'll start at 13. It reads, "For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters." All right. "And hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns, that can hold no water." All right. I'll read that again in the NLT. "For my people have done two evil things. They have abandoned me, the fountain of living water, and they have dug for themselves cracked cisterns that can hold no water at all." All right, all these belief systems, all these things that where your pride has led you to, believing in just because you think the Lord will see, or the world will see you in a better light. Is that really, that's all you live for, is being worldly. All right, you are still. I'm not saying everybody. Okay, I'm not saying everybody. I'm talking to the 2/3. All right, which we don't know who is called and chosen. Okay, so I'm speaking to myself first and foremost. All right, so what we did, we walked contrary to the Lord. All right, thinking that we found some great knowledge, something to look up to. You know, just our pride led us in all different places, regardless of what they were, where we were led. It wasn't this way. All right, and it did not hold water. Okay, the places that we were led did not hold water, so we didn't grow the way that the Lord meant us to grow. Okay, we didn't grow in the ways that He meant for us. We didn't grow in the Lord. All right. Now I'm gonna jump down to, this is still Jeremiah's second chapter. To the I'm gonna read. Okay, I'm gonna read 19. Jeremiah 2 and 19 now. "Thine own wickedness shall correct thee, and thy backslidings shall reprove thee. Know therefore and see that it is an evil thing and bitter that thou hast forsaken the Lord thy God, and that my fear is not in thee, saith the Lord God of hosts." Okay, so we can tell if you do not fear the Lord, man. It's not that hard of a thing to see. Jeremiah 2 and 19 in the NLT. "Your wickedness will bring its own punishment. Your turning from me will shame you. You will see what an evil, bitter thing it is to abandon the Lord your God, and not to fear him. I, the Lord of heaven's armies, have spoken." Okay, and then the point that I was going to get to, because of verse, I think I was in the NLT, so I can't tell what verse I was in. Actually, yes, I can. Hold on. Oops, hold on. Okay, 4. Was it 4? Yeah. Now again, I'm gonna read this again. I hope I don't lose you in doing this, but whatever the Lord wills is going to happen. Isaiah 5 and verse 4 in the NLT. "What more could I have done for my vineyard that I have not already done? When I expected sweet grapes, why did my vineyard give me bitter grapes?" All right, so now back in Jeremiah 28, I'm going to read, wait, where'd it go? Jeremiah 2. Okay, back in Jeremiah 2, excuse me. This is verse 21. It reads, "Yet I had planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me?" All right, because it told you how. Okay, thine own wickedness. Okay, the backslidings, no fear. Okay, all right, now Jeremiah 2nd chapter again, verse 21. "But I was the one who planted you, choosing a vine of the purest stock, the very best. How did you grow into this corrupt, wild vine?" All right, so you people, all right, that come up against the Lord and don't try to even understand what is being said. You're just worried about the messenger and how you are hearing things instead of what you are hearing. You have become, you are wild, man. All right, you become wild grapes, a wild vine, a corrupt wild vine. Okay, so back in Isaiah chapter 5, and now we're on verse 5 in the NLT. "Now let me tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will tear down its hedges and let it be destroyed." All right, and we've said this before on this channel. All right, destroyed. Okay, destructure. All right, take away the structure. And what happens to any building if you take away its structure? Okay, it crumbles. All right, so do people. So do a people. Look at you. Look at yourself, Israel. All right, you take away the structure, you will crumble. Okay, so again at the top of Isaiah 5 and verse 5 in NLT. "Now let me tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will tear down its hedges and let it be destroyed. I will break down its walls and let the animals trample it." All right, so some men in this earth are known as wild beasts, animals. All right, you grab onto their side, meaning their idols, their beliefs, all right, their sayings, their ways of life. Even the ones that preach peace all the time, preaching peace this and peace that. These are the same people who use this book to their benefit, telling you that the Lord was all love. Then they taught one of your own to repeat and do the same and get money off you. Isaiah 5 and verse 6 in the NLT. "I will make it a wild place where the vines are not pruned and the ground is not hoed, a place overgrown with briars and thorns, excuse me. I will command the clouds to drop no rain on it." The nation of Israel is the vineyard of the Lord of heaven's armies. The people of Judah are his pleasant garden. He expected a crop of justice, but instead he found oppression. He expected to find righteousness, but instead he heard cries of violence. All right. And yes, we're going to read that again in the Good News Translation. All right, just stick around for a minute. It's not going to take long. And pray that you get understanding off of this if you don't have it. All right. This is very sincere, and I hope it is edifying. All right. I hope you get some understanding off of it. So this is Isaiah 5, and this is only seven verses, man. There is so much in these scriptures. I heard let me see if this is what it was. Hold on. Man, I heard I've read this like a story, not like a storybook, meaning I think it's only a story. What I'm saying is I read it from front to back. Okay. Okay. So my understanding, I'm trying to go back through again. All right. Lord will, I will be able to go through it again with understanding. But I'm telling you, uh, Ezekiel 23 speaks about the northern and southern kingdoms again. Again, he's been telling this stuff over and over again. Ezekiel 23 speaks of Israel again, the northern and the southern kingdom. Okay? And that, man, these are biblical times. Quit speaking of this thing like it's no longer a part of anything. This is everything. Okay? But back to Isaiah 5 in the Good News translation. This is only verses 1 through 7, all right? It reads, the title, the heading is The Song of the Vineyard. Listen while I sing you this song, a song of my friend and his vineyard. My friend had a vineyard on a very fertile hill. He dug the soil and cleared it of stones. He planted the finest vines. He built a tower to guard them, dug a pit for treading the grapes. He waited for the grapes to ripen, but every grape was sour. So now my friend says, you people who live in Jerusalem and Judah, judge between my vineyard and me. Is there anything I failed to do for it? Man, it just hit me. He just told his people to look at, he told his people to look at it themselves. All right? Are you right in going the way that you want to go? Or is the Lord right by putting his foot down, man? He planted us perfectly. He's telling you, look at yourself right here, man. What else could I have done for you? What else could I have done? Anyway, Isaiah 5 in the Good News translation, and I'm at verse 3, okay? So now my friend says, you people who live in Jerusalem and Judah, judge between my vineyard and me. Is there anything that I failed to do for it? Then why did it produce sour grapes and not the good grapes I expected? What is your explanation for being who you are if you are walking contrary to the Lord? He did everything for you. You even say you know that. Okay? And still won't change. Not even a little bit, man. But again, the Lord made everyone the way they are. All right? Isaiah 5 and 5 in the Good News translation. Here is what I am going to do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge around it, break down the wall that protects it, and let wild animals eat it and trample it down. I will let it be overgrown with weeds and will not trim the vines or hoe the ground. Instead, I will let briars and thorns cover it. I will even forbid the clouds to let rain fall on it. Israel is the vineyard of the Lord Almighty. The people of Judah are the vines he planted. He expected them to do what was good, but instead they committed murder. He expected them to do what was right, but their victims cried out for justice. All right. So that was Isaiah the 5th chapter, which was speaking of Israel as a whole, okay, in a parabolic sense. Okay. So I do want to end it just with this right here. Isaiah 5 and 3 in the Good News translation. So now my friend says, you people who live in Jerusalem and Judah, judge between my vineyard and me. Is there anything I failed to do for it? All right. So with that, I'm gonna say call halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakaha Kwadash. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone, where I have learned this truth and where I'm still learning this truth. And also shalom to the remnant of Israel. Lord willing, I'm of that number. All right. Shalom to the elect of Israel. Okay. See you in the next video, Lord willing. Shalom.